Hi, welcome to C2C World TV. I'm Yvonne Jones, your host for tonight's featured event, God's Original Order. We have a special guest this evening, Dr. Thomas Hill. Dr. Hill is an advocate of GoConnectIQ and Engage Pro. Dr. Thomas Mallory Hill is a distinguished professional who seamlessly integrates the fields of educational, management, and network marketing. As the proprietor of Thomas Mallory Hill and Associates, he has built a strong reputation as an educator and entrepreneur. His certified credentials by the State of Illinois Board of Education, combined with his innovative prowess as demonstrated through Dr. T's Redox Business Builders School, positions himself as a leader in his industry. Notably, his excellence has been recognized on a national level, earning him accolades and a two-time top 10 and top 20 national winner of the Local Business Person of the Year in Naperville, Illinois. Dr. Thomas Hill demonstrates a strong passion for continuous education and empowerment. His professional endeavors suggest a keen interest in both fostering educational success and driving innovation in marketing strategies. As an Alignable Ambassador, Dr. Hill is actively engaged in community building and networking, which speaks to his commitment to forging significant professional relationships and contributing to the local business ecosystem. C2C World TV is specifically designed by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, and today's sponsor for the show is Edible Home Gardens, Ranch, and RV Resorts and Tiny Home Communities. We're going to have a great and awesome show this evening, and we're going to be learning all about what motivates Dr. Thomas Hill and why he's so passionate about it. Now, let's get started, and welcome to the show, Dr. Hill. Tell us a little bit about your life's journey, what inspired and motivated you to get where you are today, and why is that your driving force?
Well, thank you first of all for having both you and Robin. You both are an inspiration after having had a chance to meet you both. I think to address your question is the fact that I was blessed with two people who got together back in 1954 and decided they wanted children. And I was the first of a second marriage. And as it goes in most cultures, that when you're first born as a son, he gets the blessings, right? But I've been blessed to be fortunate enough to have two people who love the Lord, and I was able to come to that conclusion on my own and with my own family today, and the people who I interact with, the students who's been under my tutelage over 47 years in public education here in Illinois. I've had the distinct pleasure of being able to see love in action, to be able to see the benefits of the blessings that when you have them and can share them with others because others have shared that with me. We're all forging our path. And so those are the kinds of things that I continue to want to give back. It has nothing to do with what I can get. We all want to get and do better and do more, but you have to deal with the cards. You have to work with the card that you're dealt. And God has blessed me immensely to do for him and to let people see his light and sometimes his salt when those who need it to do better.
Well, I appreciate that. And Robin, who's a co-host of our show, which I forgot to mention in the intro, I apologize for that. I made some edits and changes and it just got like, boop, sorry. So Robin, as the co-host, and you go back way back with Dr. Hill, um, tell us a little bit about your history and what stands out with you.
Just the encouragement and encouraging each other and just going and being led by God. And just there have been so many pivots in my life, and I give God and then also Dr. Hill credit for that. I mean, just coming out of my comfort zone, he's pushed me to great heights. And so, yeah, it's so great to have him on the show. It's going to be a great show. I can tell you that you're open. Um, Stay tuned because it's just going to keep getting better. Thanks for joining us today, Dr. Hale. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Robin. Again, it's interesting. You said we've known each other. We go back a long way. Well, I'm only 38 weeks old, so I don't know how old Robin is, but I know the last 38 weeks has been a joy to watch her meteoric growth because she took over a group on Alignable. We talked about her, how should she, position herself and what should she do? And to see her group grow and to see her grow and the interaction with Robin in her business ventures, but also in her personal life. Uh, Both of our children are of age, they're kind of out on their own. And it's funny that when you're talking to others who have children of age and they're doing their thing, we all commiserate, at to some one point. But then you think about what would our parents be saying now about us? And your introduction, Yvonne, made me think, boy, if one believes that their parents are listening, they may be, I don't know. But I do know they would be sticking their chest out going, that's my baby, that's my boy. On the other side of the coin is like I can hear my siblings going, he's not him. You just gave him a special coat. You think he's special. So I'm not trying to replicate the story of Joseph, but there are kind of some days similarities, and you look at people going, "I'm just a guy. Look, this is how he made me. I didn't dream this up. This is where I'm at." So we're just trying to do the best we can with what we got. So I thank you both for having me.
Now, let me ask you this. You have an interesting slide that we kind of talked about Redox.
Mm,
And I want to touch on that a little bit because not many people in the world, no, I'm one of them, knows what that means, redox means, and how are you applying that, or how is it being applied to what you're doing?
yeah, redox is a contraction of two words. The first word is reductant, and the second word is oxidant. And an organization who developed and manufactured this technology, redox signaling molecules. I don't like dropping names, but the fact that they created this and they're the only one in the world who has it, I've taken the approach that versus trying to sell a product, a health and wellness product, everybody and their mother talks about, I was blind and now I see, or I was this and now I'm not. I took the approach that when I was introduced to it almost 6 years ago now, that I said, it can't be this simple. Not that I'm that smart, but it can't be this simple. And a person from the Ohio State University was explaining, I went to a Zoom presentation they had on a Friday, and he explained that redox is just a communication tool. The molecules themselves, they're made up of four molecules, hydrogen and oxygen, which we know is water,
Mhm.
sodium and chloride, which we know is salt when you combine those. But the combination of those four molecules has 16 electrons. So people have to go back, what did he say, electron? Yeah, it's like protons, neutrons, and electrons. But the problem is, it is the transfer of the oxygen molecule, which is a paired molecule, two protons, two neutrons, two electrons. When they lose one electron, that electron is known as a free radical. And that free radical is an oxidant, and it destroys other cells, anything close to it. It's
Mhm.
kind of like a parent, it's kind of like a couple who are going through a divorce and a remarriage, and one spouse is like, I'm leaving, and it causes damage as it's going out. So they created something like oxidants, an antioxidant, to
Right.
calm the one spouse who left, calm the other one down. I'm using these metaphors, but there's another side of oxidative stress and to calm these free radicals down called reductants. Reductants are something like hydrogen peroxide
Mhm.
that has two hydrogen molecules and two oxygen molecules. And nobody thinks about hydrogen peroxide until you have an injury.
Yeah.
Then when you pour the liquid on it and it starts to bubbling, that's because it's fighting an infection, right? It's fighting the germs and it's helping your lymphatic system. It's helping your immune system
Mhm.
begin to cover those wounds. And so in our DNA, they already have the programming to how to repair cells or how to kill a cell if it's not what it should be. Like they may be abnormal cells.
Mhm.
So the redox signal is a switch that gets turned on and off. So it goes to other cells, like the internets, right? It's
Mhm.
if the Wi-Fi is not where it should be, it'll go over and say, hey, you're not doing what you were designed to do. So we either need to produce another cell that's like you, and these are not stem cells by any stretch,
Mhm.
but turn that switch back on because the body needs to reduce the inflammation. So
Mhm.
they call that word homeostasis or balance. So reductants and oxidants have to be in balance. Are you familiar with where they're selling us water now out of bottles, right? I
Right.
just
Right.
got through drinking some.
Yeah.
When we were younger, we would just go to the tap, right? Or the pump and just get water.
Mhm.
Well, now that we're selling it water comes with electrolytes and different pH levels. You might have heard of that.
Right.
And the pH level has to be balanced because your body could be too acidic, or the water could be too acidic,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be, not have what it is we call a base. And so when the water we drink is in balance at a certain pH level,
Mm-hmm.
it's good for the body. We're refreshed. And people always talk about drinking water, but it's not even the kind of water, but it's having the cells hydrated so that you don't build up different challenges. For example, people in my peer group, I have a particular medical challenge, congestive heart failure. And when you have CHF, the heart, depending upon which ventricle, left or right, in my case, it doesn't pump out enough blood and fluid because it's of a different shape and it takes more pressure to get the heart and the body where it needs to be. If the body is lacking sodium, the word is called edema, Edema.
Oh,
It holds the water that you're not giving it.
right.
But it seems counterintuitive that if you don't have enough salt, that drinking more water will help reduce the edema. Well, that's because the body is looking for magnesium, it's looking for phosphorus, it's looking for other things that it transports. But when you combine magnesium, which draws H2O, water, into a cell, the better you can stay hydrated is the combination of other micronutrients and macronutrients that allow us to reduce inflammation or reduce edema or to make us feel better. So when your body's in balance, you feel better. When your body's in balance, but oxidative stress is akin to aging, meaning as we get older, right, the skin is less elastic, it's more brittle, so are our bones. But have you ever thought about what iron does? You take metal and
Right.
you leave it out. What happens to
It
metal when
oxidizes, it rusts.
Oh, did you say oxidize? Oh, look at you using really big words.
I
Or
know.
what about an apple? If you bite into an apple, it's a fresh apple, and you leave it out, why does it turn brown?
Yeah, right. Yeah, same principle, right?
Oxidative stress, correct. So you're actually watching, not with the naked eye, but the electrons, the free radicals
Mm-hmm.
doing damage to
Right.
that vegetation, to our bodies. And so the resupplication, putting more redox signaling back into our bodies,
Mm-hmm.
helps the body to heal whatever it is it's going through. Mhm.
So how?
Long answer to a short question.
No, no, because well, this is going to lead into the Dr. T's Redox business, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
business builder school. So I think that's kind of how we were relating. You had that screenshot that we were looking at that you
right,
created.
right.
Maybe. So tell us how that applies to, in theory, what you're working on and
All
why
right,
you were so attracted to that theory and all kinds of things that were going on in your mind.
right.
Because you're
Well,
very intelligent. You come up with all these like things that
to,
like we can correlate with each other, right?
yeah, to go back again, redox being these two things that have to be in balance. The oxidative stress in our businesses or our spiritual lives is a process of give and take. So it's got to be balanced, right? You can't have too many oxidants, you can't have too many reductants. Well, in being in business, everybody's not a salesperson. Everybody's not an accountant. It takes a multitude of people if you're self-employed to do different tasks. And maybe you're passionate about as an artist or a musician, you have certain skill sets. But redox is really a mindset and a biological process like breathing. You
Mm-hmm.
breathe in to take in oxygen and you breathe out carbon dioxide. But in the planet and divine order, Robin was asking me to speak to about, which is our relationship with plants and animals. We take oxygen from them, we give them carbon dioxide. It's in and
Right,
out.
right,
Nobody just holds their breath and thinks
right.
that the body's going to do good. You've got to expel the carbon dioxide. Otherwise, you won't be here long.
Yeah,
You can live a lot without water, but
yeah.
oxygen is something that we all need. Everybody needs it. So in business, the way I coined that particular explainer video is you have to be what Bob Berg calls in his book called The Go-Giver. You can't just be a taker of people's resources or talents or
Mhm.
skills. You've got to give. And a lot of people give just to get. But
Mm-hmm.
the people, again, this is a redox principle, when you're giving of your talents and your time and you're giving value to another, you also have to be open and receptive to receiving what they have to give. And Robin and I do that. It's not my presence being here today to say, oh, how can I lift Dr. Hill up? I can't do that without lifting up Robin. It's a redox process. It's homeostasis. It's being in balance. And not that I expect anything from Robin, but the idea is when we can give value to another, and if that's how you conduct your business or your goods and services, then the community benefits. Think of it like when you guys were talking to Mary Jo Sears, who I've come to
Yeah,
love, and her thing about the ranch and the things that she's growing.
Mm-hmm.
She's
yeah,
giving to society and a community. But guess what the community is giving her in exchange? Some give money, some barter. I heard you two talk about, oh, well, you're growing grapes and I'm growing potatoes. Oh,
yeah,
you're growing this and I'm growing that. It's
yeah,
the exchange of information that
Mm-hmm.
we freely give, and you do that with your hands open,
Yep.
not with them closed.
That's right.
Nobody can give you anything with your fist balls up. So imagine
right.
intuitively, you've shut your mind off. You've shut yourself off from people who could help you in your community, in your business.
Exactly.
But if you're open, like you two are, and you're flourishing, and some of the people I've met on your program since Robin asked, and I thought, look at my Robin fly. I can't think of the group who sing a Chic or somebody says,
Well, there
fly,
was
Robin,
actually,
fly.
I know that was like your record, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
I'm serious. There's a story to that because my dad got me that record, and it's just all the same words: fly, Robin, fly, and
yeah.
Oh.
it's just the same kind of thing. My sister got mad at me. She was my favorite record, and she put a needle to it. And I'm like, oh no, I was crushed. But no, fly, Robin, fly. I'm very familiar with that
And
song.
I'm watching this take manifest right now. And then what the two of you are doing because you're open. And look what you're giving to the world of those who tune into your podcast or to the people who know both of you. Look what you're doing to the community at large. And I don't care what the platform is,
Mm-hmm.
but it's satisfying to me that Robin wanted me to be that part of her life when I had no idea what she was doing. Then when she said, oh, would you please? I'm like, girl, please. Yeah, I'm doing this for you. All you have to do is
Thank you.
ask.
Thanks so
Yeah, not
much.
a
But
problem.
It's so awesome. I mean, and it's so funny because I was so thrilled. Robin says, Dr. Hill, I go, no way. I mean, I know him. How do you mean?
yes,
We
yes,
were
I
like,
was so excited.
I
Yes,
was so thrilled,
of
and
course.
we are
Thank you.
thrilled to have you on this show. And you're going to be doing a double with us, so we're really excited about that for sure.
Yeah,
To follow with God's stories, which is going to be interesting. It's a little plug
absolutely.
there, y'all, for God's stories, and so stay tuned for our Friday night double hitter, special. And yes, and Robin, I just adore her as well. I mean, my God, the
Thank you.
show wouldn't be the same without her,
Yeah.
and I love her to pieces. We have such a great affinity. Robin, tell them how we met. It's kind of cool in the story how God's original order came about.
Oh, well, I just, we were having a conversation and she was telling me, and I was just leaning more and more and more what she's doing because just bringing people together to live um, their God-given abundant life. And I'm like, oh, yes, yes. And then I remember during COVID time, God put upon my heart and my mind that everything must be restored to its original order and never let go of me. Kept telling me to begin, begin, begin. And I'm not that I was ignoring him, but maybe I was being a little stiff-necked, maybe. I will admit that. And then I told her that, and she said, we should do a show like that. I'm like, okay, God, here we are. But no, just restoring everything to its original order is indeed it is the time in the season. I really firmly believe that. So here we are.
Yeah, I think there's a thing going on in the world right now where we can see this taking place, this tug of war with, is it God's order, or are we now going into another whole channeling, another whole stream? And I use those words precisely because, we are looking at a whole different world right now, and well predicted, as we know when we read scriptures, right? And but the cool part about the Bible, it says that when the enemy rises, what does he do? He brings up a standard against it, right? So,
Homeostasis, balance.
yeah. So he brings up a standard against it. So we're not alone. We're not alone on this
Mhm.
planet. And it was kind of cool when Robin, when we were talking about God's original order, I remembered that she had put that in a recommendation to me about Yvonne is, with Edible Home Guidance Resources returning to, well, she said the original order. And I'm going like, she knew that back then, and that's how we were connected like this, like soul sisters, right?
Literally soul sisters, absolutely.
And so that's why we're so happy to have you on, because you can go into a little bit more detail about the metaphysics, all about what's going on and how the human body works and how it aligns with God, is God's plan, right?
Absolutely. You know what's interesting, as you were just giving that, and my spirit trying to resist the story that I know about Robin, not to embarrass her or anything, but I'm tying in the broadcast that the three of you, Mary Jo and Robin, you guys were talking about your fruit and your berries. And I only spilled this part of the beans. Where Robin used to live, that I'm aware of, there were no fruit trees.
Right.
Her home was destroyed by a fire.
Yes.
God gave her another home.
Yes, right.
Yes.
She didn't even know how that was going to happen. But in the second place, she's got fruit trees. She's got all kind of berries. And then I thought about this, and when you said, how did you two get started? And I thought, look at this. Look at God. Look at how he has shaped Robin's life in such a way that when the three of you were having the conversation about berries and fruits, and I watched her light up. I just saw her and I went, oh man. And she's like, I can make that out of a jam, and I can put this over here, and I can make these. And I'm thinking to myself, this child has lost her mind. She's gonna be like the Lucy, that one episode with Lucy and Ricky, and she's out there, eating the chocolate, but also the grapes, Yvonne. You can see her stamping the grapes and make wine from her backyard.
Right.
I do want to pause. There's more of the story to that, and Dr. Hill's being very humble. And God prompted me. He was the first person I called him that my house was on fire. And I did tell him about it. And he kept it close to the vest. He didn't tell anybody, or maybe he asked me, can I share this or whatever. But he put a GoFundMe together for my family. And I'm going to start crying, but
it's deep meaning. It has deep meaning to you. And that's what relationships are all about, as a human. That's why I'm so happy to be connected to humans. Okay. I'm just telling you, we're going to keep God's original order going. And that's what it's about. I appreciate you, right?
Yeah, thank you for helping me get through that, because man, oh goodness.
Thank goodness
I didn't put mascara on it.
Yeah, well, you're gonna make me cry.
But I just want to say thank you again for that. I know I've thanked you, but that just speaks to the huge heart that he has.
But it speaks also to when the people that you love and you care about, like in James chapter 2, he discusses, when you're in an audience and somebody comes in with tattered clothing and, you tell them to sit by your feet, but the guy comes in with nice clothing, jewelry, and you put him up in front. Robin got to experience, I don't just talk, I have not lifted myself up, but I didn't want to go there, Robin, but since you opened the door, I'm just going to say this. I tried to live God's word and manifest that in my life. And there was a person who I cared about, and we've never physically met at all. And I went to people who I love and care about and say, listen, somebody who's on our team, her home is, this happened. And I can't think of anyone else who I've ever done that for, but I did it for Robin. And then I thought, and we've talked about just a little bit about how challenging and embarrassing, again, giving and taking, that when people are there for you and are blessing you, that you find it difficult, not even to only not ask for help, but they do it because they love you, care, without asking for anything in return. So that's why I couched it by saying who Robin means to me. She doesn't have to do anything but ask me. And sometimes she doesn't even have to ask. I'm just getting, what's up? What's going on with you and the kids? How you doing? Not because I think I'm something, because I don't have anything, but it's because God gave Robin to me to be a blessing, like I've been to others when we were homeless. That was 11 years ago. And people don't understand until you've been on that side and you have no job, no money, no nothing. and you're
Mm-hmm.
in an industry where you're teaching others and you're helping others, and then you find out that that's where you are, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's how you know what life is really about and who your friends are. And I
Yes,
mean, even
God.
your
Yes.
family. And it's not like, I'm not saying anything ill to people who I know. I
Yeah.
just know that that journey for me
Mm-hmm.
is how he shaped me. And there's absolutely nothing I can give in return that would equal what God means to me and my family. And yet, I'm not where I need to be or who I should be. I just am blessed by the opportunities that I've been given. And I keep trying to leverage that for others.
It is amazing when we do for someone else, and we think it's maybe something in a small way, but it's a lot to them. It means a lot to that person. And sometimes, like, well, we had another guest on too, just going, so she was aware that something was going on with somebody else, didn't even know the person, just went out and administered to her. That's the kind of stuff that as humans, not robots, but humans do, right? I had to get that in there, because we're going into a whole new world, and I think that we need to stick with God's original order, God's original design. He did it for a purpose. He made us. Matter of fact, don't they say that the earth is made like a shape of a heart and the way it pumps? I mean,
Whoever said it's not wrong. I don't know who said it, but I do know this. You two are a force to be reckoned with. And in his divine order, brought you two together.
mm-hmm,
And the good that you haven't even seen that you will do for others.
mm-hmm.
I hope I'm here to get a front row seat to watch what you ladies do
You
together.
are, and you're invited. Matter of fact, you're invited to the show as often as you want to come on, and if
Absolutely.
you want to,
Yes.
bring other guests on, or if you have anyone, like, for example, if we've got few more minutes here, I'd like you to go into a little bit how you're building your community, because that's one of the things that we talked about in the intro. You're building your community, and tell us a little about that, your networking and your building, and how people can work with you on that, and what's involved.
Yes, please.
Robin was a part of our SEA team a couple years ago, and the people that I had been listening to or having them influence me was not the way I wanted to talk to people or to attract people.
Mm-hmm.
And because I did have a little experience in education for 47 years, I'm still in it.
A little
Uh,
bit.
I I found that people are like Christ asked us to be, is to attract them.
Mm-hmm.
And not with some slick script or some fancy words or look at me. It's what Tom Gay talks about. When somebody is referred to your business, wouldn't it make sense that you know, like, and trust them initially?
Mm-hmm.
And another gentleman by the name of Bill Dewar that Robin had a chance to meet, he passed away December 15th of 24. He had another version of what Tom is doing. And then when I got reacquainted back with Tom 38 weeks ago, I said, you know what I feel like now talking to you, and I'm trying to leave and carry Bill's legacy on. It's like Bill was the side B of the White Album for the Beatles back in '68, and you've been side A. And now I got both. I got the entire collect. I got the whole album. And
Yes.
so we talk to people about how to understand that they have challenges in their business, and part of that challenge is finding the right people. And we
Mm-hmm.
ask the stupid question, would you agree? Because I have that challenge. They go, oh, yeah. I said, well, look, wouldn't it be easy for you to get to know me and I get to know you so that you feel comfortable in endorsing me about what I do and the people I'm looking for? And I do the same for you. Oh, yeah, absolutely. See,
Mm-hmm.
well, here on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank me? And I know a lot about your business and you would, send people to me or you feel comfortable endorsing me. Same question. But what happens is you may have a high score on being endorsed, but a low score about what my business is and who I'm talking to. Well, you have to do that by talking to people, to your point. An AI bot's not going to do that for me. You have to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom came up with the notion of if you just had 2 conversations a day with a human being about getting to know them, about cultivating and building the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and the tool Engage Pro, which is not a CRM, It's a tool to help you follow up so that you don't let people fall through the cracks. Notice I said people, not bots.
Yes,
And
exactly.
it's avoiding all of the digital noise that we keep getting bombarded with emails and texts. And why not just pick up the phone, or why not just communicate and say, let's talk?
Mm-hmm.
And the more I get to know about you, the personal things,
Mm-hmm.
now I know, as again, Bob Berg to invoke that again, to say, when I know more about you and the things that are of interest to you, remember, it's not about me. It's going to always be about you. So people have have difficulty in describing what does Dr. Hill do, because he's such a giver and he's always asking me what he could do for me, but we never get the chance to ask what can we do for him. And invariably it happens this way. Somebody says, you've given me so much, so now what can I do for you? Now, is that not,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute, I don't have to ask them for stuff. They want to know about me. You want little old me?
Yep.
Well, part of that comes down to not trying to reach your hand in their pocket.
Right.
It's by me giving, I'm coming back to the Redox, by me giving and then being open and receptive, I have to have my hands open to do that,
Mm-hmm.
that the more I give referrals, the more I give about being trusted, the more I give about helping you build your business. The word Tom gave me 38 weeks ago was called reciprocity.
Right.
When you can reciprocate,
Mm-hmm.
and it may not come from the one you did, did the good value to the good deed,
Mm-hmm.
but he has this saying, if you give if you give a slice of bread to one who's hungry,
Mm-hmm.
God makes sure you get a loaf. And so we've been saying the last few weeks, because Robin is a part of, I didn't tell you, I didn't invite you, I didn't know you, Yvonne. But Robin knows, she'll say, I should invite Yvonne to this community because the bread trucks are
Mm-hmm.
lined up for
Right.
all of us to eat. And we're like, but I just gave away a slice. I got a whole loaf. No, we got a bread truck now. And
Yep.
they're all lined
Exactly.
up. And we want people to eat with us. We want people to build with us. We want people to be a part of what we're giving
Mm-hmm.
and to be part of a community of people who understand it's about respect and love and being transparent and being authentic and being honest and ethical. Robin sees that in me, and those who see me elevate me. I have a gentleman he's 81 said to me, we hadn't talked, and he said this to me in closing. Doc, I see you being recognized and you're like all over North America. Oh my God, but I met you 2 years ago. Now you're even bigger. So that's not me. You're listening and looking at God working through someone who has surrendered.
Right.
And until one surrenders to him, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter what people say, they'll see how he blesses us to be a blessing to others.
Yeah.
Amazing. It ties into our miracle stories that we have, our God stories. Everything that we do, God blesses us. Matter of fact, he says you can't outgive God. The scripture says you can't outgive
Yeah.
God. And my garden is evidence of that, by the way. It's like I always use the sunflower seed as one example. One little sunflower seed produces 12,000 more, up to 12,000, I should clarify, up to 12,000 more. So and there's so many miraculous things that the sunflower, I won't go into it here, but it's amazing if we just use that as an example. Plant a seed, a spiritual seed, plant a seed with somebody else and watch it go like whoop, like that, right?
Yep. Yep. And guess what? No matter how much you yell at the seed, you want to close the seed, you got to pay your bills. Come on, seed, I eat the fruit. It is God who gives the increase. He
That's
didn't
right.
tell you to do anything to the seed but plant it.
That's
I
right.
got the rest of it.
That's right. He's got it. I love that. That's
True.
our ending
True.
statement right there. He's got this. He's got you. And there's that old song. He's got the whole world in his hands. Kind of brings to mind. It's so true. But I would rather be on this side with God than on this side with the other.
Yeah, the sheeps and the goats. You'd rather be a sheep and not a goat.
Exactly. Well, we are actually running out of time, and I am so grateful that Dr. Hill was able to join us on this show. It meant so much to
Yes.
me and to Robin.
Yes.
We're just doubly blessed, and We
Thank
are
you.
going to have Dr. Hill's information in the show notes. And Dr. Hill, if you'd like to leave any way people can get a hold of you.
Well, yeah, the easiest way now is to use my Go Connect Meet link. But for those who don't know, how can I say it? I'm on the Alignable platform. I'm on the LinkedIn platform under Thomas Mallory Hill and Associates. I'm on Facebook. I'm not on TikTok. You won't find me there. I had enough of TikTok. Instagram, you can find me there under Dr. Thomas Mallory Hill. But I think the short answer is, Yvonne, there's only one of me.
That's
And
all.
when you see it as Thomas Mallory Hill, you got this good looking, fat, black, bald, handsome guy, and we'll connect. So that's the best way they can get in
I
touch with me.
appreciate that. And all the information will be in the show notes. And
Yeah.
with that, I'm so thankful. Thank you so much for participating on the show. And we're going to see you at
Thank you
God's
too.
Encouragement.
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Bye all. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Blessings. Thanks so much.
All right.